A little bit of your background, story leading up to InTune, career, et cetera, high level notes.
Yeah, I was gonna say we'll hit the high notes, right? So I've been in technology since 2002. My first job in college was a lab operator, back when computer labs were a thing because not everybody had a computer, right? And if you did, it wasn't a laptop, so it wasn't portable. Went to college for computer science and then did not actually end up using that degree until this job. So computer science
Did not know that, by the way.
pure program. And I'm like, I graduated after 4 years. I'm like, I don't want to code anymore. So I went into administration. So systems administration, then systems engineer, then DevOps in the mid 2010s when that became a thing. And then finally moving into leadership and executive positions after that. And yeah, InTune, when I started in November 2023, was my first one actually leading people who are, coding is their main job as opposed to something they have to do just to do the rest of their job, right? So that was important for me, right? It came full circle, right? I went to college 2002 to 2006, and like literally almost 20 years, did not use that degree except as a, hey, I went to this college, you should hire me.
And your first day on the job, you got thrown into using engineering?
Well, yeah, I'm like, hey, let's go. You've got some engineers now, go do your engineering stuff, right? And it was crazy. And then the second day, the database shattered, and we had to fix it. And then I got to use my old administration skills to get that fixed.
Yeah, and 365 days later, the whole system went down again.
Yeah, but we fixed it again.
Yeah,
The theme here.
we always prevail, right? So going a little bit deeper, what makes you tick? What gets you excited in the morning? Why do you wake up?
Having a challenge, right? And this is why I'm quasi terrified of retirement. I need to find something else to do before I retire, or else I will be one of those people who dies 2 days after. It is, really, and that's actually what I'm thinking, depending on how well we do here. Like, I may not have to wait till 65. I could semi-retire early, do consulting, right? Not have to really. All right. There's a thing called. It's called fuck you money. So we call it fudge you money. It's having enough money to do kind of what you want. And that's not necessarily retiring, but being able to say, F you, I don't want this job. I'm going to go do this thing and not having to worry about it. So being able to get to that point with InTune, right? To semi-retire, to have those challenges, right? Now that being said, we have a lot of challenges here, right? A lot of opportunities and learnings. So I'm not overly concerned with that in the near future. We have plenty that's going to keep me up, keep me moving. Hopefully less, 10 p.m. crises when we're at a retreat in Costa Rica, right? But
we've gotten pretty good at that. It just so happened we were away on apps, but we've gotten pretty good.
We have, yeah. It's been a lot less fires to put out, and I think that's part of the maturation of the team as we grow.
And you're getting more people to help you put those fires out.
Right? It's not me making diving catches anymore at, Saturday night at 8 p.m.
That freedom is one of the things you probably get here at InTune a lot more than. It's why I do what I'm doing, right? And when I look around the company, I see a ton of that. Like,
I think freedom here directly translates into impact. Like you could get a job anywhere. I mean, we're not providing people jobs. They can work anywhere, right? But I can tell you a lot of the jobs I've worked, especially once you get over 100, 200 into the thousands of people, your impact goes down. It's a double-edged sword, because for people who are driven by I need to do this, I need the challenge, it kills them. But what kills them just as quick is all the people who can hide in mediocrity, right? In those jobs. And you see that as a person who's like, I want to do the things. And this person's like, I'm content to do as little as possible and not get fired. And it's like, and that's, again, it comes back to culture. Kills culture right there.
So what are you most proud of building since your time here?
The team.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, we can talk about tech. I mean, director of engineering is what I was hired, CTO now. Yes, we built this product. The product makes us money, gives people freedom, impact, right? Challenges. But it's the team, because at the end of the day, it's people. Whether or not we're building the arbitrage product, something brand new, or we pivot in 3 years in something else that enriches people's lives, right? But it's the team that I'm most proud of, right? It's an awesome group of folks.
And I agree, by the way. I concur. And you've worked for a lot of different companies in your career, a lot of different bosses, a lot of different teams. What makes a strong team and what makes a strong leader?
Yeah. So when I moved from individual contributor to a leadership position at my last job, I basically modeled it after all the bosses I've had, and not necessarily positive ones.
No.
It was, my goal was to be the boss, be the leader, be the manager who I wished I had throughout those, I think, 14 different jobs I've had in my career so far, right? So it made it easy because having that breadth of experience, which you can't replicate, you just have to do it, right? But having that experience let me know, like, this is what I've seen work, this is what I've seen not work. All right, so do this and then do the opposite of that. And then build the team that way.
So what are those? What did you do the opposite of?
Yeah. One of the worst things is micromanagers.
Okay.
Or people who think they're the smartest person in the room, where there's no room for thought. Whether it's either agreement or dissent, it's just this is what we're doing because I thought of this, and since I thought of this, clearly this is the idea we're doing. Right. Honestly, one of the biggest challenges, right, going from individual contributor to manager to leader was not be the guy. Not be the guy with the ideas, doing the things, right? That was no longer my value, and it had been my value for so many years to all of a sudden be like, no, you can't do that, man. Telling myself that, not even being told externally to do that. It's like, no, you are not the guy anymore. Your job is to uplift all these other folks, whether they're on your team or not, like to create the space so that they can feel comfortable and be like, hey, I want to do this, I don't want to do that, I like this, I don't like that. I mean, that's huge. Like we've gone back and forth. I think I'm like, wait, Lucas, when you say something, even if you're not 100% serious, people will just go do it.
Yeah.
Right? And it's like, we need to wash out what you say. And then even negative things. If you say,
Positive, I had people not to jump off the roof into the pool, and they disputed me and said they were going to do it anyway. So I don't know.
muchas cervezas. But yeah, to your point, right? It's one of those things is understanding the impact that you have. Even just saying, it's the royal you, right? That we have.
Yeah.
It is being very mindful of that, like the intentionality right behind it.
Yep. So switching gears a little bit, talking about what it's like for everyone to work here at InTune, describing your team, what are you most proud of? And it could be team as a whole at InTune or just engineering or technology as a team.
Yeah, so I mean, the team here at InTune, I'm most proud of the diversity of thought on that team, right? It's one thing I have, so tech is heavily dominated by white dudes. Right, most of my career, right? Yes, you have some other folks, a lot of like Indian folks, right? But white dude, old white dudes, especially in tech, right? So you have a lot of that, and I did not want to build a team of cookie cutters, of mini me's. Like, so is that unconscious bias everyone has, no matter how hard you fight it. So you have to be, the only cure for that is that radical mindfulness of look, I know what I'm going to try to do, so I need to catch myself from doing it. I don't want somebody who's going to just be nodding the entire time I'm talking. No. Like, I know I'm not right that often, so you should be disagreeing with me, and if you're not, then it's not going to be a good fit, right? So diversity of thought is huge, and you can get that a lot of ways, right? I mean, a lot of the folks, in fact, almost everyone in engineering is from Latin America, right? Aside from me. So I mean, diversity of skin color is easy, but that's not diversity of thought. So you're looking from people with different backgrounds, right, is a huge thing. And yes, a lot of them have an engineering background, but that's not the same. Small company, big company, were you front end, were you back end, were you infrastructure, right? What did you like? What do you like outside of work?
Yep.
Right? That creates a whole different set of thoughts and feelings and expressions. So that's what we're looking for.
So, past 12 to 18 months, there's been a ton of growth.
A little bit.
Individually, right, as a company as well. Speak to both, right? So speak to how the growth has felt as a company, but then I'm also honestly more curious to hear about your own personal growth.
Yeah. So the company growth I can touch on. So like I mentioned, when I grew the last team, I literally onboarded 14 people in one day at my last job. Like, I am used to growing things fast. I went from one person to 23 people in less than 3 years at the last job, which is a lot. So when we come here, we're like, we're hiring like 4 people at once, and you're like, is that too fast? I'm like, no, it's fine. Like we can onboard these people. Like I've done this. I know we can do it as a team, right? So I mean, the team growth has been crazy, but I think we have the right people to make sure we don't lose the focus on our culture during that point, right? And I think we had seen this last night when everybody was sitting dinner. Like people were just hitting core values without actually knowing what they were.
Yep.
Right? We hadn't disseminated that info yet, but they were living it, which means we were hiring based on it kind of all along, right? It's that intentionality piece to the culture, not the happy accident, the Bob Ross culture, right?
Yeah.
So that's been huge. For me, personal growth, right? I've been most of my career very siloed in tech, right? Even at my last job, I was a director of data platform. But at a 6,000 person company, I'm not dealing with vendors, right? I'm not caring about profit. We have an entire division that makes millions of dollars from that. We don't do that. So you get in your niche and you stay there, and it's okay, right? It's not a bad thing, but you lose some of that broadness, right? Those opportunities, because you can grow like that, which is fine. But when you kind of get your horizons expanded, you have a lot of opportunities if you're willing to take them. You're willing to take the risk, willing to screw up and be wrong about a bunch of things. So this I'll talk about the front end engineer I hired. That was a bad one, right? But I learned from it. Because again, in the past it was, we're working for a large company. Your contractors are all vetted by your procurement fellows who have the list of questions, who grill his.
Oh, I forgot about that. I forgot you were talking about that.
Skelton, yeah. I got his name. I learned from it, right? And that's the big thing. Is I don't care that the people we hire make mistakes. That's honestly humans. That's the only way we learn.
Yeah.
We screw up. But if you make the same mistake more than once, now that's something we need to talk about. Once a mistake, dude, it's fine. You crossed this $10,000. But when I wrapped the cloud wash for $3,000 that 1 week,
It was what it was.
that was
We set alarms and not say
we said we don't make the same mistake again. And I'm glad it was me making that mistake and not somebody else. So I could like, hey guys, guess what? Don't do what I did, right? We're teachable moment for myself.
that would have been fine.
It would have been fine, right? But it's they're all still pretty new. I think it was like Vito's like third month, but we don't want to break him, right? And so I'm glad it was me because it's a lot easier for me to blame myself than have to go, hey guys, let's have a talk. Like, hey, don't do what I do. Everybody's happy about it. I'm very good at being critical of myself, right? So that it made it a lot easier for everybody, including me.
Yep. New Year's resolutions. Work outside of work.
I don't do resolutions, man. I do commit. No, I don't do resolutions. Are things that people start and then fail to do. I will set quarterly goals for myself. The more you hires this year, I track habits. I have one of my journals is literally a habit tracker. So anything I'm like, I want to do more of that.
Okay.
I write it down as one of my habits and I track it every day.
Okay.
So like right now, so something I do is called dry fire. It's just practice with an empty weapon, right?
Okay.
That's something I want to stay on. I wasn't able to do classes as much as I wanted last year, but I can stay on my training.
Okay.
I'm taking a 4-day loss here, right? I'm not bringing it down to Costa Rica. They're not even fake ones. Like they're not day old that.
No.
So it's gonna be 4 days. I have not done 4 days of missed dry fire in a row, right? But I have the visual now to remind myself. I'm like, yes, you missed it, but there was a reason. Right? So like, I track my chess games, I track my workout, I track all my PT work that I do for myself, right? This is stuff that I track every day. So you have very recent indicators of what we're doing. So this year, I want to get back into platelet donations. I had missed the past 2 months because of heart issues. They just were kicking me back out. Heart issues are not dangerous for anybody watching. But they were enough to get me kicked out. So now I can get them under control. I can go back to donating every 2 weeks like I was. So I want to do that. The first 6 months, I want to hit at least 11 donations. Okay. So that's like, it's a little wiggle room. Little wiggle room. Every 2 weeks, like 6 months, I'm like, I don't want to hit it. I don't want to, I don't want to miss too many, but I also don't want to set the unrealistic expectation, right? I want and then 90% chance, right, of hitting it. So that's one of my big ones, right?
Awesome. I'll suggest one thing to add to your tracker is compliments to Lucas on a daily basis. Will directly be tied to any bonuses.
No, now we're talking comp. We can work with that. We can add that to the checklist.
Last question. If you were to, actually 2 questions.
I'll charge extra for the second.
That's fine. Bill me. If you were to create one rule that everyone in the world had to follow, what would it be?
In the world. Be kind. Be kind. I think it encompasses enough. There's too many times where we forget that whoever we're dealing with is also a person. Maybe they're having a shit day. Maybe that person who is aggressively not making eye contact and slamming your groceries, maybe they just had a parent die. Maybe they just had to break up. Maybe they had both in that same day. And being kind doesn't cost us anything. Maybe we have to just kind of swallow down the, hey, could you not slam my groceries? Maybe we just need to just let it ride, right? So that would be my rule.
Awesome. Last question. If you had to fight a chicken to death every single time you walked into your house, how would you do it? How would you prepare?
One chicken,
yeah.
like in my house.
In your house. He's in your house. You don't know where he is.
Oh, okay. So it's like a seek and destroy the chicken.
Yeah.
You don't know where he is.
Every single time you walk in, how are you preparing?
I would have a bag of seed to lure him to me, right? So Sun Tzu, you always want to fight on ground of your choosing. So I would make the chicken come to me.
Okay.
So I would need like something chickens love, and I've never owned chickens. Oddly enough.
Yeah.
And so I would have some sort of chicken food, something they crave, like a treat for chickens. Okay. So I could lure him to me and ambush this chicken.
For my weapon of choice?
For the chicken?
Bare hands?
Bare hand. I don't want chicken. We're inside my house. I don't want chicken blood and guts there, man. All right. So we have to go mano a mano, right?
Good answer.
I might want some gloves so I don't get my hands torn up too bad.
Yeah, you walk in gloves, chicken treats, and you're ready.
We're ready to go here, man.
They'll slow down your entrance. If you walk in, you sprinkle the trickle treats, and you're like,
I'm gonna wait. Yeah, I'm like, all right, let's do this.
well, dude, because